We should be live, so everyone should be able to hear us in our full rant. And let's see if we can get through this with our mental health and stop in check, since that is the topic that we're discussing.
My
And
mental health hasn't been intact since
do you
April
remember?
2009.
That's funny.
That's when I enlisted.
I was gonna say, for me, it's, I don't know. I've lost track with all the stupid and crazy stuff I've done in my life, but it's, people question if I've been sane most of the time anyhow.
Yeah.
But it's it's funny to think about, like, for this topic I actually looked into some of the stuff that they say men deal with mental health and all this,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone expects, like, if you're depressed or if you're going through some kind of thing, and it's more fathers is this way than just men in general. But fathers, from what it says, fathers will have a tendency not to, like, go to the corner and cry. They don't just go in, boo hoo hoo,
Mm-hmm.
my life is hard, oh woo hoo, whatever, right? As dads, something in our brains tell us we have to be strong enough to take care of the family, shut up, move forward. So one of the big things that I read said that, as a general thing, fathers will either dive more into work, become workaholics.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be withdrawn because they don't want to push the stress and all these negative emotions and whatsoever you on their family. And then they run through their mind about how much
Mm-hmm.
how much better their family is without them there, so they work more not to burden their families.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's start off with that, about what your guys' thoughts there.
Well, yeah, let's, I would say, um, let's go through some statistical realities. You know what I mean? Let's go start off from the beginning. Suicide's what? 80% men. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But what are the
Yeah.
reasons why? What's the let's look at history. You know what I mean? Men are meant to do this, women are meant to do this. Now we look at today, what are men doing? The same exact thing that they're required to and expected to do. What are women doing? About half as much, and trying to do, a lot of them are trying to do what men are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is women are essentially, not to their fault or anything, but they're brainwashed into thinking feminism is good, be like a man, do what a man is doing. So a lot of times men are, not only are they emotionally and sexually turned off, but now they're getting their roles and things replaced by women who think they're better than men. But then they're getting women that go out of their way to make all the decisions and do all the stuff that men do, but hold none of the responsibility, right?
Mhm.
So in my house, my wife respects that of me, right? But she knows, because I hold all the responsibility. If there's anything wrong or anything happens and I lose my job, I go to jail, I die, the whole house crashes, right? There's no more
Mm-hmm.
money, there's no more house, there's nowhere to pay the bills. She does a lot of stuff like pay the bills, but where does the money come from that pays the bills? Now, she can go get a job. She has a degree and lots of experience and stuff. But in the current moment, in the current position, that is me. You know what I mean? Not to
Right.
mention, because of, having a child and being a mother, she's been kind of out of work for many years. So she would have to essentially start over. So, and this is a life that she chose. We didn't choose to be a man with a career and a woman with a career. We chose to be a family. I do the career and the job and the work and this stuff. She does the household and the family and pays the bills and the food, right? So that kind of household has kind of merged together for us, but that isn't becoming the norm today. Today, a lot of men and women are crashing because they both want to have the career ladder. They both want to do the man's role, or the primary, household leader role. And instead of being two people working together to have a household. So I can see that as causing a lot of mental health issues in men. Plus there are things like food. Our food has destroyed people's health. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's the statistics on men's testosterone. So testosterone, we've discussed it before. Testosterone started being recorded in the 70s, right? And the average testosterone level for like a 40-year-old man was in the 700s. And today, they go, oh, it's totally average if you're at 300. Oh, because it's within limits. Well, the average limit has done like that. So now they've changed the marker where the average is. When in reality, your testosterone as a 40-year-old man should be in the 700 to 800s. But they
Right.
don't tell you that. They tell you, oh, it's okay for your testosterone to dip as you age. And when you're 40, at 300 is fine. No, it's not at all. You know what I mean? Now your mental health is going crazy. So there's a bunch of factors, in this that play into this. Not to mention men do, majority of the hard jobs, majority of police, majority of fire, majority of iron workers, majority of oil workers, majority of construction. These are all very difficult jobs. And when you work these jobs and get beat up all day long,
Hmm.
stress all day long, and you come home to a wife that's like, and the moment you're like, well, I just kind of want to have sex and hang out. I love my wife. I worked all day. I would like
Right.
I worked all day for you. I would like a hot meal and a little bit of love and care. That's it. That's all I want. So, yeah, that can take a major toll on a man. Not to harp on women or anything. I'm not harping on women. I'm not putting women down or anything. I'm just saying this is a more common feature of what's going on today. So,
Right.
Yeah, I think in general, I mean, I think it's always been more acceptable for women to have mental health issues, or at least to be more
mm-hmm.
open about it. Like
Right.
women can be like, "There's something wrong with me. I'm going to talk to my friends." Where
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in men, like I think most of our mental health issues come from our sense of identity. I mean, as a kid
Right.
growing up, I kind of didn't really have a lot of confidence, and then like
Mm-hmm.
becoming a single dad, like
Yeah.
I was my son was my ex's second child, so I had a lot of I was insecure about like my parenting style, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really find out that my strengths as a parent until I became a single dad. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing
That's
that
another big factor is single family homes and fatherless children and divorce rates. That's another one that hits. Just
Well, single
majority. I think it's
dads,
what 80% of all divorces are initiated by women.
right,
yeah,
nowadays.
I mean that takes a huge toll on men. Yeah.
and I
So
think it's I think the most
James
important part
Reese.
of it is being able to be
Yeah.
self-aware. Because I think once you become self-aware that there is an issue,
Mm-hmm.
then you can start addressing it. I feel like a lot of men that have mental health issues, they refuse to voice it because of what past
Yeah.
society said. So
Mm-hmm.
like at least if I can say there's something wrong with me, I can begin to address it and like maybe go talk to a therapist, maybe talk to my doctor, maybe talk to
Yeah.
a pastor. But like um for those who aren't willing to do that, they hold all that stress, all that anxiety, and they internalize it, and then usually it comes
Mm-hmm.
out as like anger or this. And I feel like a lot of those men will just disconnect, and
Yeah.
that's when you see like the men that aren't like doing what they're supposed to. But I think like in the last maybe 10 years, I mean, like even in the military, like it's finally been acceptable to admit that like even
Mm-hmm.
PTSD is finally being accepted as something that's reality. I mean, like
Yeah.
when they used to call it shell shock, and like
Shell
you'd have
shock.
men come
Yeah.
home for war, and then like they would consider them weak for having mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Thank You for Your Service, where
Yeah.
they basically like talk about him coming home and having all these issues, and his leadership is like, well, you need to be an example for them. You can't show
Yeah.
weakness. And I think now it's like you start to see the men that we perceive to be stronger in society, and we see them being able to show vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
um I think it's why it's important we're having this conversation, because I think that like people look at us and they always think that like that man, he's doing the right thing, he has all the right things, but they don't understand what's going on behind closed doors. So I
Yeah.
think like this this gives a good avenue for men to kind of like reflect on themselves and be like, maybe there are certain parts of me I need to fix and need to change, and maybe I need
Hmm.
to start addressing those head on.
Yeah.
Let
Well,
me
I
ask
mean,
this.
oh yeah, go
Hold
ahead.
on.
Sorry.
So let's look at. So, Aaron, you're, I'm assuming, much younger than me. I'm 47 years old. I'm not sure how old you are. Or no, sorry, I'm 46 years
I
old.
turned 40. I turned 40 in October.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're almost 40. So you're not that much younger. So
No.
you just have less gray than I do.
Oh, it's
But
there. Just I get it faded out.
uh but so, and part of it is I know, like me growing up, I was, and where I grew up out in the middle of the sticks of Ohio, where there was more tractors than people most times. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So where for me it was, I grew up and I kind of had this mentality of I have to be strong enough to deal with my family. I don't talk about my problems. I shut up. If I need to deal with them, I sit and think about them, or I have a couple drinks with somebody and make comments and jokes and what so have you. You know what I mean? Not really, like I don't do the therapist. You tend to have more of the more openness to emotional intelligence, I think is the phrase or something, or more open to your
Yeah,
feelings and things like that. So
Hmm.
and that
here's
definitely didn't happen overnight, though. That's the thing, though. That's what I'm trying to
right.
like want people to know.
So here's I guess where the big thing comes in is, like, I'm still in that mindset of I don't talk about my problems. I might,
Hmm.
like Pancakes, I might make a comment to him, or I kind of say some
Yeah.
things, but generally it's shut up, I'll get through it. And most men, especially in the middle of America, in the sticks, all this, where they're taught men are men, you either are strong enough to deal with your problems, or
Hmm.
you throw that dress on just like Sally. You know what I mean? So it's, and the reason I thought of Sally, I have a cat, Sally. So, but
Yeah.
but the fact
I
that,
mean, I can give you my opinion on that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
my opinion may be a little bit harsh on this kind of topic, um, which is fine. I mean, and people can be mad at me for it if they want to or whatever. It is what it is. But I do believe, like you said, Aaron, I do believe it's good to talk about it. Um, but amongst us, because we, in a way, we are the people that some people go to look for information. You know what I mean? We've had this show
Hmm.
for a couple of years now.
3 years
We've
now,
been
yeah.
discussing quite a bit. We aren't, and we've openly accepted and told everybody we aren't experts. We just
Yeah.
are conversationalists, nothing more. People can come to us to discuss information, get ideas, and go from there. Um, so this is the good avenue for us to talk about it, so other people can get ideas. But I don't believe that men should be going out of their way to express their feelings everywhere. I don't believe so. I think men need to shut the F up, grow the F up, grab your freaking balls, act like a man. If you have stress and you have problems, no, you don't need to go to a freaking therapist. They're going to charge you up the butt and keep you there as long as possible. They're also maybe going to prescribe you with some medication because why? Gives
They
them a
get
little
paid.
bit more cheese. So, what I think men need to do is find themselves a solid workout plan. Um, get some good friends, you know, get some new hobbies, do some things. There, and maybe having that one trustworthy friend to discuss with and talk to, that's a good thing to have. Yes, absolutely. Being open with like me and Eric, if there are issues, we've known each other for quite a few years now. There's not really that much that's off the table at this point. You know what I mean?
I proved
So
that earlier.
right, yeah, right. So having that one person or that one solid friend to go to for those things, that's okay. That's a good thing. I absolutely think that you should have fellowship amongst men. Um, but I don't believe you should be going to therapist or group therapy sessions or finding yourself in medication or expressing your feelings, especially to your woman. You should definitely not be expressing your feelings openly to your wife.
Yeah,
Because
and I'll say what I learned from my
yeah,
first relationship is that like I had a lot of traumas as a kid, and
mm-hmm.
I found that a lot of times when I would start getting relationships, I'd get overly comfortable and I would share things, and
And
then
then boom, gone, done, fix. Yeah,
they would use my traumas against me as like a weapon, saying like, you must be weaker.
right, right,
I guess my only pushback for the therapy stuff, I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
Um, I think that especially for me, when I start going into therapy, I guess I'll be upfront and honest. Like
yeah, dude,
a couple years ago, I almost killed myself. Um,
yeah,
I was coming home from a drill weekend, and my ex was leaving me, and like I didn't know what my
mm-hmm.
future was going to hold, and like I think that loss of identity of what I thought was going to be a nuclear family took over. And then I talk about my one video where basically I told my commander that I was thinking about hurting myself, and they got me help, and I went up to
yeah.
active duty
So now,
installation.
so there is a difference between being on the edge of of life and death, and the being this is it, I'm done, I'm so brain dead. You know what I mean? There's a difference between that and having normal, stress, anxiety, crying about it. My wife hates me, stuff like that. There's two different worlds. The I will say there's a lot more people that are right on the edge, and I do believe that it's good that we are open a little bit more today than we used to be, because I mean, let's be honest, there are a lot more people that are on the edge of committing suicide and things like that. So in that instance, yes, that is where a therapist or a medical professional or something should come into play. Absolutely, 100%, right? But let's be honest. Why is it that today more men than ever before are right on that edge, right? Why is that? Well, I truly believe it's because of several different factors. One of them being men's testosterone is basically tanked. You know what I mean? Men have to deal with all of the same things, maybe even more than they've dealt with all of these years. And then instead of getting praise and appreciation and love for it, they're getting hated on and told their masculinity is toxic, right? So I believe there's a lot more things, a lot more men today that are on that edge than ever before.
Yeah,
so it is good that we're opening up.
I think you brought up a really interesting point with that. And I feel like in the past, like you look back 50 years ago, if there was problems in the home, nobody knew about it. Like that was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Now it's like if something goes wrong in the relationship, women are so quick to go online.
Yeah, it's everybody. Social media, Facebook. Yep. Yeah.
So
and that's a huge problem.
That demasculation is like really fast, and like honestly, once that starts getting out, like that can take a severe toll on you. But again, like with therapy and stuff like that, when I went into it, like I made the clear comment. I was like, I don't want medication, because I tried it before and like it changed me. I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
like,
it screws you up.
But the one part I did like about it was that like sometimes when you go and confide in your friends, I feel like sometimes your friends will give you what they think you want to hear, and
sometimes
honestly, sometimes having that objective, like I'm not backing you up, I'm not backing that person up, and sometimes just saying your shit out loud is like, I'm like actually hear myself say, I'm like, wow, this sounds insane.
So I sound like an idiot.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I completely understand where you're coming from, and I think prior to it, before, like I probably perceived it that way too. I would just say from getting a lot of help from it, like
for sure.
I went to the VA, so luckily I didn't have to pay for all that stuff out of pocket. They gave me like 20 free sessions or whatever.
And I mean, like I said, a lot of people, harp on people like Andrew Tate, and they're like, "Oh, he's such a womanizer and stuff." And I hate to say it, I hate to say it, but Andrew Tate is bred from the anti-masculine movement, from this overly feminism, and then push for men to be weak and all this stuff, and that's where people like Andrew Tate came from. You know, I don't agree with everything he says, you know, but I mean, I'm a Trump supporter and I don't agree with everything Trump says. So it is what it is. You know, you're not going to agree with everything everyone always says all the time. But there are things that Andrew Tate says that I do agree with. And you know what that is? I think men need to, you know, sorry to say it, but sack the fuck up in a lot of
Yeah, so
things.
I see that out sometimes too, but like again, the problem with like media as far as like even social media is that
Hmm.
like I can sit here and say whatever I want for you to think that this is the way I think, but
Yeah.
behind this facade, like you don't know the stuff that I'm going through behind. Like
Right.
obviously I'm a little
Yeah.
more vocal because my goal is to help other men like
Hmm.
Mm.
take those deficiencies and turn them
Right.
into strengths.
Right.
Especially being like I think being a father and a parent kind of makes you view things a lot different than you
It
would
does. It
outside
does.
outside
Big
of it.
time.
Um,
Yeah.
and especially since like I'm trying to raise a man, like I
Yeah.
see all my weaknesses and I want to like obviously I don't want him to know all my deficiencies, but like
Right.
I would like the things that I fixed in myself to kind of like make sure he doesn't
Yeah.
deal with those
Yeah.
things. But yeah, like I completely agree with that. Like, but like sometimes I want people to think like don't just listen to the words. Think that there's still a man behind that person that
Yeah.
even though they're saying don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Sometimes the people saying those are the biggest hypocrites when they're like
Yeah.
secretly trying to put out a facade. So
Yeah. I
um,
just I I just feel there's like a majority of men's mental health issues can be solved through more simple tactics rather than hitting social media and whining about it or hitting a therapist for almost every single thing like you've got a little
mhm.
depression. You know what solves depression? Eating better and getting physically fit. Those are it's literally written in almost every book. You know what I mean? Health books, even history books. It's oddly even written in the Bible. You know, it's everywhere.
Right.
You know, for men, because how we are biologically designed, one of the best things for men's mental health is eating better and getting physically fit. That's it.
Now,
There's literally.
now let me throw this
Obviously, it's
in.
not going to solve all stuff,
No,
but it'll help. I think.
let me throw this in as well because
Hmm.
there's a couple things that you both have said that kind of has my mind thinking about different things I've read. One of the other big things that is going on is the social media. So like you both have mentioned about social
Yeah. That,
media. Now, here's the big problem is what's happening especially with the younger generation. Social media is a big part of their lives. So
mhm.
they post. They get a lot of their endorphins from the likes, the comments,
Instant
Yeah.
feedback.
the
Yeah.
instant feedback. So a lot of
What's
it,
that
and
stuff? Cortisol.
yeah, it's endorphins or cortisol or I
Hmm.
don't know. I again not
Well, the
professional
cortisol is
here.
the stress part of it.
Oh,
The
That's why
stress
it's like
okay.
part of
that.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
endorphins, that's the big thing there is the endorphins, I think it is
Dopamine.
that dopamine.
Dopamine. That's it. That's it.
It
Dopamine.
took us a while and I was way off, but we got there. But
We
I
got there.
yeah,
Took a minute.
the big thing that I believe that's happening is society is giving, and I don't know if it's bots that people program to encourage the sissy man, the soy boy kind of
Yeah.
behavior. But what's happening is they're seeing other people act a certain way. Like,
Hmm.
remember when we first started, we had a general parenting guy on, and
Yeah.
he was obviously didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, at the time he had like a 2-year-old and a baby, and he thought he could instruct people on general parenting for teenagers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's one of those
Like you
things.
haven't seen what happens when they're 10.
Yeah. So, but a lot of what he was doing was trying to get clicks on social media,
Yeah.
trying to get attention, and all these things. And a big part of what he was trying to make it seem like spanking in any negative discipline was bad because he had his tablet taken away from him for a month when he was a kid, and how horrible his parents were about this. And
Horrible it was.
yeah. And so what it is you have people that are getting like feedback, and the people that are sitting there going, "Oh, well, I want to feel good, like it's not my fault." Like my son, he's always like, "Oh, I'm sorry I did this." I'm like, "You're sorry you got caught. Let's be
Yeah.
realistic here.
Yeah.
If I
Let's be
didn't
realistic.
if I didn't say something for your actions, you wouldn't be sorry for it."
Mm.
So what it comes down to is that, at least how I'm seeing it, is people's not really wanting to take responsibility for their bad sides. They want
Yeah.
to be, they want people on social media to tell them, "Oh, it's not you, it's them." Like, look at the women that break up with a guy because he's too good, right?
Yeah.
So if a guy is too good, that's BS, because here's the
Yeah.
fact is, if a guy is too good, then you're not going to leave him. You just want the adventures. But what they don't realize is this mentality that women are being fed, this feminist, like this modern feminism, hate men, men are the blah, blah, blah. You can do it all on your own. Like, even my wife told my kid, we joke around, she goes, "Do you want to see mommy beat up daddy?" I'm like, "Honey, have you been watching too many of those women movies again?"
Watching
And
too many feminism movies.
yeah. And so it comes down to is society with social media is making people think a certain way,
Yeah.
do a certain thing. And
It's
we're
definitely
not,
causing issues.
yes. But we're not, yes, I'm not going to say don't get therapy. I'm not a big therapy person, but if you're at a point where I guess I see two scenarios that therapy is useful.
Right.
One, if you don't have somebody to talk to. Like, before Pancakes and I became friends, I would talk to my neighbor occasionally, but like wintertime, we rarely ever get together, because when we get together, we start a campfire, we sit in the backyards, we open like 3 or 4
Get
bottles
drunk.
of my homemade wine and wonder how did we drink so many. I mean, but we talk when we do that. But generally, if you don't have somebody to talk to, if you don't have that friend network, because friend networks seem to be getting harder and harder to develop, like
Yeah.
I'm becoming friendly with a guy that have my co-op just by happenstance,
And I actually contribute that to
to
a
social media
lot of
too.
social media stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually become a statistic nowadays. Friend groups especially men friend groups, are almost non-existent these days. They're very few and far between nowadays. Where before it used to be like all over the place, like everybody was friends. You know what I mean?
So I'll say this, like the friendship part of it is like, I think sometimes when you're going through things, I think for like the end of my relationship and going through family court,
It does
like
make it more
that was a
difficult.
2.5, 3 year ordeal. And honestly, in those times, it's hard because you're around your friends, and especially like a lot of
Hmm.
my friends have young families and stuff like that, and it's like you feel secluded because you're now like the fifth wheel or the sixth wheel or the seventh wheel, and
Yeah.
like you're tired of constantly putting your issues on other people. And that's the problem that I came to, is like that I became secluded because I didn't want to keep burdening my friends with these issues. And then I
Yeah.
was away from my friends for a long time. I guess I'll be the pro therapy advocate in this group. So
Yeah. No,
I
that's
just say
okay.
from what I got out of it was, so when I was going through those experiences, especially when I didn't know if I was going to lose my son, like I would get
Hmm.
panic attacks. I was waiting tables at the time, and sometimes there would just be people that would come in, and like I would see a young family or I'd see a little kid and I would miss my son, and I would start getting like panic attacks, and they would like legit, like I couldn't breathe, like.
Hmm.
And the things I got from therapy was I got some tools and stuff to like, when I realized I was going down that path, they gave me like tools that I could use in those moments that I could
Hmm.
ground myself. So like there was like breathing techniques they gave me, or they gave me like, when you're feeling panicked, focus on something that's outside. Like, what color is that car over there? What sounds am I
Yeah.
hearing? What's like, and stuff like that helped a lot because it gave me, in the moments where I was going through a struggle, to like feel, have like ways of distracting myself. But again, like there's always some people overuse it, and some people,
Yeah.
like, I think some people, like, there's a great show on Apple TV, since we're on iTunes, or
We're everywhere.
Shrinking, with
Right.
Harrison Ford, and basically, like, uh I don't know where I'm going with this.
Welcome to the
I
random rants.
I lost myself. But like getting those grounding things is what's necessary. But I feel like you can get too much into it, like where I need to go to therapy 5 days a week, whereas
Mhm.
like somebody like me, like I can still be my normal, do my normal stuff, go to work, go to the gym, be a good dad, but
Mm-hmm.
going to a therapist maybe once every couple weeks can give me some skills and grounding that I can use. Because again, like being able to talk to somebody, like I feel like innately our friends, they instantly want us to feel better. So sometimes they'll tell us stuff that like can
Yeah.
be more harmful to us by like, yeah, just keep doing this. But behind, as soon as they walk out, they're like, man, he's effed up. So like, I think that's the one nice part about the objectiveness. But like, again, there's levels. Like if
Yeah.
you're so weak that you're not doing anything to be adding to
Right.
society or your family, like that's when there's a major issue with therapy. But if you're
Mhm.
using it as like, I'm doing all the things I need to do, I'm being a good example, I'm being a good citizen, I'm making society better, I'm taking care of what I need to,
Yeah.
and I'm just talking to this person and they're giving me tools to prevent me from having panic attacks. Like
Mhm.
that's where I could say it could be a beneficial thing. And I think it's interesting with the three of us. Like I think
Mhm.
based on where we're from, like like you said, like being raised where there's more cows than people, or I think
Yeah.
the where we live as far as like how we grow up and how society looks at us differently. Like I think maybe there's more people around me that are willing to accept that people are different, whereas like where there's not many people, like there's one standard for
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and I think like as strong men though, like we can be a good example of what other men should strive to be, and that's why I think it's important that we're talking about this.
Yeah.
um and I think it's good that we have different
Yeah, different
views on it.
opinions,
Yeah.
and don't think I don't want everybody to think I'm anti-therapy. I'm not totally against it. You know what I mean? I'm not anti-therapist. I'm not like, oh, never. You know what I mean? I just don't believe that men should. I think it's the duty of the man to be the foundation and be the leader of not only their family but society. If men are consistently crashing out and going to therapy all the time, I mean, no wonder women are pushing us aside. You know what I mean? No wonder women are demasculinating us. Because we're always like, crying about it and going to therapy all the time. So, like I said, I'm not anti-therapy. I just don't believe therapy should be your go-to. I think, if you don't have a lot of friends, which happens a lot, and you made a great point. If you got a bunch of friends, but you're the one that's getting a divorce or got a divorce or now you're alone or whatever, sometimes that depression can really grab a hold of you and really make you that single odd man out and really make you that fifth wheel or third wheel or whatever the case is. That's not a good feeling. It fucking sucks, you know? But I do feel like sometimes there are other steps you can take first before getting to that point to where you need to go to therapy. I feel like there's a lot of other things. Maybe a church, like, maybe you go find, like how we found this, start one of these, start a channel, work out a lot more, just work on yourself, maybe even start reading a lot more, go spend time like out in the woods and just go run. There's a lot of initial things you can try initially first to try and wane down your depression. Start go join like a racquetball thing and go just hit racquetball for a while. I mean, I'm telling you, they don't need to know that you're depressed and single. Why do they? Go join a softball group or a softball team or something, and or even a flag football group or whatever. There are all kinds of adult male teams, sports teams and stuff to do. They don't need to know that you're going through a divorce. It's none of their business. So you can go there, make friends, and maybe that will give you the spark to find that one guy that maybe is going through the same thing that you're going through, and the two of you can confide in each other. So I just feel like there's other things you can do before immediately hitting, not that you're doing it, but immediately hitting social media and going, or immediately going to therapy and all these other things that a lot of men are doing these days.
So
and
I think
that's what I'm talking about. It's like,
one of my things is obviously my faith is hugely important to me, but like there's like the one when the Pharisees are talking to Jesus and they're like, well, why don't you guys fast? And he says, well, the time to fast will be when the bride is gone. Like that's the time to fast. And they say like if you're that, like those people are hypocrites. Like they're like when they fast, like they look all disheveled. Their hair is a mess. Their clothes are dirty. Their clothes are frumpy. And they go around and they tell people, hey, look, I'm fasting. I'm fasting. I'm fasting. And Jesus says, like, when you do that, that's your reward is coming from the reaction of the people that are you're telling to. And they said, like, and they say, like, when you fast, comb your hair, wash your face, wear clean clothes, look good, because what you're doing it shouldn't be for anybody else to know. It's for you to be working on yourself and your relationship.
You need to work on
with
yourself,
God. Like,
right?
So like if you're to the point where you're needing this, it doesn't need to be an outward expression, because your rewards shouldn't be coming from what other people perceive you. Like to get to the point where I am, like I did it behind closed doors. Obviously certain family members knew, but like I wasn't out there be like, going to therapy today.
Yeah. And like I said, seeking therapy is not necessarily a bad thing, and I'm not anti-therapy. I'm not saying never go to therapy. I think there's times and places. Like it sounded like you had an experience where therapy did you good, and it was something important that you needed to go to. You were right on that edge. And it seems like that was a great choice. As a man, you took that initiative to become, knowing you were in a place that needed this. You needed outside intervention. And that's what's important. I mean, I'm essentially talking to all the men out there, or boys that are adults. They're out there like, acting like babies.
I think there's certain things, like I think that like there's certain levels. Like if you go to my channel, I'm pretty open about this stuff. Like I was in foster care as a kid. I lost my twin brother when I was 4. My mom, all my grandparents died by the time I was 21 years old. Like I dealt with like traumas like that, and like sometimes those kind of traumas, they can last you a lifetime.
That can really,
instead of like addressing them, like they get buried deep inside. And like again, like I was at the point where I was just suicidal, and like, but I guess if someone's
that can
watching
really
this
take
video,
a toll on you.
Like if somebody's clicking on this video for mental health, I'm guessing they're probably pretty close to the point where they need to like start addressing it, and they're trying to find paths forward. And I will say, like, I was at the darkest I possibly could be, and like I thought that the only way to end that suffering was to take my life. And honestly, if anybody's listening to this right now, I do want to say, like, things get better. Like I'm at the point where I finally got to the point where I used to tie my happiness to everybody else. Like I can't be happy if she doesn't love me. I can't be happy if I'm not a family. But to finally get to the
what's
point,
the saying? This too shall pass.
Yeah. So like I got to the point where I'm happy being alone, and that's kind of a detriment to myself right now, because like I'm happy by myself, that I don't need somebody else, not like a woman, to make me happy. And that sucks because it's harder for me to find somebody. But like knowing I can go to bed at night and I'm happy with myself, and like I've worked through the issues, and like,
why do you think passport bros has become such a big thing these days?
Going to Thailand, getting away.
Because so many men are so used to being alone because of how terrible, their wives or their marriage or whatever case was here in the U.S. They just got sick of it, and they're like, man, they eventually come back to them like, it'd be really nice to have a girl, but I don't want any women here. So they
I
go,
feel like women
"Oh,
want to
whatever."
do men's stuff all the time until it's time for men to do men's stuff. But then the
Hmm.
men are so burned out from women putting them down that they're
Yeah,
like, well, why should I give up and give you my seat? Why should I defend you when you
yeah,
constantly bash me all the time? Why should I open the door
right.
for you? Like, so like
Yeah,
that's the funny part about society is like women want to be men as far as income, strength,
yeah,
doing all the jobs, and then like, but then like when they want somebody to defend their honor or something like that, then
yeah,
like it's like throw out everything I said you were, and
yeah.
be the
You
man
want
that
me to be a man, but you don't want to be a woman.
yeah
Right.
Yeah.
when
You
is
want to
when it
have
serves you.
all the privileges of a man, but you don't want any of the responsibility. Yeah. And in the words of our missing member Tom, I said feminism. I think feminism was initially a good thing, and Tom finished the sentence because I couldn't. This is what I meant, but couldn't articulate it. Um, Feminism was a good thing, but in a way, our society overshot. It was
Hmm.
good because it fixed a lot of things that our society had that was wrong, such as women basically being like, get in the kitchen, woman, beating her and stuff like that, how we treated women many, many years ago. A lot of that stuff was wrong. But in a way, we did overshoot what the definition of a woman is and how a woman should be. And I'm not saying women should get in the kitchen and be the traditional wife. All women should, but I do believe that in a relationship, in a household, there is an established order, and that order is for a reason. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just it holds the household together. Men like women to be feminine, lovely, take care of them. Women, whether they want to believe it or not, even today, like men to take the lead, be a man, hold the household together, be strong and hairy and gross. Women like that.
Right.
Men like soft, pretty, feminine women and to take
Hmm.
care of them. It's a natural order. And even women that are all feminist broed out, oh, I hate men, even they like men to be leaders, strong, masculine, I mean,
I,
even lesbians like, men to be that way. I mean,
right.
they just go by plastic versions of it. I mean, you can't get away from it. It's there, whether they
You
like it
ever
or not. So,
you ever watch Bill Burr
yeah, yeah,
Occasionally, I
where
see his
he's
clips.
talking about like he's like walking down in New York City when he's playing like a firefighter. He's got like the mustache, and he's like he runs into a masculine lesbian, and she's like miserable, and he's got to realize how similar we are. He's like we both have to deal with women. That's the similarity between like she gets it, she gets it.
she gets it. She gets it.
Well, let's do this. I know that Aaron, you have to be running. So,
Mm,
and I think we've touched on a lot here. And my thinking is we can obviously dig in deeper to a lot of other areas.
mhm.
So, with that being said, what what do you guys think? Like if somebody asked you your opinion on, I think we pretty clearly defined our opinion. But if somebody says,
I
"What
think
is your
targeting
advice?"
specific portions of mental health for next episodes would be great, such as suicide, or such as divorce, such as
Mhm.
career stuff, such as anxiety stuff. Specific targeting. You know what I mean? The
Right.
beginnings of marriage and uh, parenthood. You know what I mean? The beginnings, the stress and anxiety and the mental health that it causes. Or having one entire episode just on suicide. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's an easy one because there's so much to touch there.
I
So
think
yeah,
specific. I think this is a good broad spectrum one. I think a couple episodes on specific targeted mental health things would be helpful
yeah, we
for
can
the
do a
audience,
series.
anyways.
We can
I
do a
also
series
think
on
like
that.
things that we experience as challenges and like certain things and activities like I think the greatest successes come from failures because I think failures are a great teacher in teaching us how to do things. Like when I do something wrong, I usually learn something pretty great from that. So I think like that kind of mental health too, because like I feel like all these men feel like they have to be perfect. And like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for men to understand like it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to like do this. It's how you react and how your self-awareness to correct those actions moving forward. Like
Mm-hmm.
um So I think that's a good one to talk about too for mental health, because a lot of men just continue doing the same stupid thing over and over and over again, and wonder why is my life so screwed up?
Yeah.
Because you're not
Right.
learning from your mistakes.
Mhm.
Well, let's do this. We're gonna off air. We'll figure out what our next topic is. We can go into another mental health one, kind of dig in deeper, maybe get Tom on as well, because I know Tom would have a whole lot of insightful views and so on and so on. But my
He's our philosopher.
he is our philosopher. But let's do this. I just want to end with, before everyone tells everyone where to find them. If you have issues, if it's day to day, just, oh, I'm stressed out, try working out, try eating healthy, try to make friends that's more in line with your life. If all your friends are married and you're divorced or single, try to find some single friends that can relate to your lifestyle. You don't have to get rid of your old friends, but try to find friends that you can talk to. If that doesn't work and it keeps getting worse, try a church if you need to, read the Bible. And if you need to, if it just isn't getting better and you need somebody to talk to, find a therapist. When, just like we said, don't become one of those people that's trying to call your therapist every day, because you're, as much as everyone wants to think the world revolves around them, it doesn't. Trust me, I remind my son of that quite often. So the what it with that being said is, this was, at, like we said, a broad spectrum of mental health. We'll dig into more topics and this and that, but figure out what works for you. Exercise, eat healthy. Those are always important to your mental health. Get outside. Don't sit inside surrounded by a house full of cats like I do. I mean, I have a cat right there. But luckily my kids are very much outdoor kids, so we go outside quite a bit. But live your life, try to find what's going to make you healthy and happy. With that being said, we'll be back. So Mr. Pancakes, where do you want people to find you?
Yeah, for sure. So the normal pancakeswithyourdad.com. Got all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, True Social, and LinkedIn. Definitely go to our shop. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Cool mugs, world's flipping best dad. Got all kinds of cool mugs, t-shirts, hats, nonsense. That stuff. If you decide to purchase our stuff, it is awesome. I know plenty of people that got some Gary Plauché, fuck around and find out stickers. They're pretty awesome. Those seem to be getting bought a couple times. That the money kind of helps us buy things and helps produce more here for you guys. The American Family Liberty Foundation, the nonprofit, still in works. Obviously, it takes a lot to build a nonprofit from scratch. But the website will be up soon. All the social medias are still there, so you can definitely go there, comment, send me messages, whatever the case is. With that being said, again, mental health is definitely one of our leading problems with men today. If you are thinking of committing suicide, please seek help. It's important. Like I said, I'm not anti seeking help. I just don't believe that if you have simple depression things that you should immediately go spend a bunch of money. I think if you're having serious problems and you're thinking of suicide, definitely seek out friends. Definitely seek out mental health therapy. One thing that helped me, as you all probably know throughout the years that we've been talking, I am probably literally the most anti-church and anti-Christian and anti-God, Jesus type of person in the world. I have always hated that stuff. I've always hated religion. Well, now I'm a Christian and I believe in God, and I don't really go to church because I still don't like church, because I don't believe giving my money to some jackwagon to go buy a Mercedes is Christian and church related. But I do believe in God. I got a Bible sitting right here, literally. So if you're Christian or if you're not Christian, yeah, if you're Christian or you're not Christian, whatever, Christianity kind of helped me focus my life. And even if you're not Christian and you don't want to believe what's in the Bible, I do recommend reading it as a historical factor because just the information in it is helpful, oddly. So, with that being said, like I said, if you're thinking of suicide, please reach out. Please find help. I'll even help. Call me, whatever. Send me a message. I'll try and guide you as best I can.
We're all here to help where we can. Aaron, where do people find you?
So I'm no longer on X. The algorithm is getting kind of toxic, so I had to get off it. But I'm still on Instagram, Boy Dad Life 612. On YouTube, Boy Dad Life 612. I do a lot of videos on mental health, identifying issues, being a best single dad you could possibly be. If you're feeling down, find avenues, work out, find time to just be alone and breathe. If you're praying, if you believe in God, if you want to talk to God, just don't treat God like a genie, because he's not going to grant any wishes and he's not going to fix anything right away. So start by praying, be grateful for the things you are blessed with, and just ask for guidance moving forward. Good Bible chapters you can read is Proverbs. That's a good direction for men. And if you want a little wisdom, go into Ecclesiastes. They'll guide you well. If you're feeling suicidal, you can call 988. It's an easy number, 988, and they'll get you the help that you need. Just remember that you can't be replaced. Feelings go away, feelings get better. Just your family needs you, your friends need you. So keep the good fight going. And yeah, that's it.
Sounds perfect.
If you want to, you can message me on Instagram and I'll answer back. Or if you have any video ideas that you want to hear about, comment on my videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Perfect. And
I want to say one more thing. For the love of God, don't go to pornography as you're out.
No.
For the love of God, it's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Is it really?
Going to pornography to deal with depression, anxiety, and stuff like that is a real thing for a lot of men. For the love of God, don't do that. Yeah, please, I promise, don't go down that rabbit hole. It will only make things worse.
Yeah. So with all that,
things happen to good people.
They do. So we're going to dive into some topics more specific in the mental health field. And there's somebody that I'm thinking I'm going to reach out to have come on as well. But I first need to see if he's available to get on for this topic. But I think he'd be great if we can do it. But with that being said, if you want a specific topic to be talked about, either message us, leave a message in the comments, tell us what you want us to cover. We're happy to talk about most things. And if you want to find more about Call with Dads, callwithdads.com. We have our audio podcast there, our YouTubes. We kind of cut off Rumble and a lot of other things. So that's the best place to find us. Is you can follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook. We post our reels there, but follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on the audio and you'll be all set. You can hear what we have to say. With that being said, I'd like to say thank you for everybody for joining us and goodbye.
Thanks, guys.